trip over everything, mate. G'day, Scruff here. Thanks for dropping by. Now, today's little video is simply about how to wrap or apply standard electrical tape. Now, we're not talking about the commercial stuff that the lineys use, or aerial fences as we call them. That's a different grade altogether. That's designed to be out in extreme weather conditions and extreme heat. We're just talking about how to apply standard electrical tape in an emergency situation, or if you're a sparky, of course you'd know how to do this in a confined area or an enclosed area. So we'll push on, First things first, I'm not here to tell anybody or show anybody how to fix electrical cabling or installations. If you have any doubts or you have any queries or concerns about your electrical cable or lead, you should contact a qualified electrician or somebody that knows what they're doing with the electrical appliance or electrical cable. And first things first, you got to choose a good quality electrical tape. The ones I use are only bought from electrical wholesalers or reputable hardware stores. Now, the good quality tape will have sticky stuff on one side, which is obvious, you need it, and it will have some resistance when you're undoing it. That's good quality tape. The cheap stuff, you'll hold it like that and it'll just unravel. No good. And it must be able to be stretched considerably before it snaps. The cheap stuff will snap easy. No good. So we'll push on, Now, just as a demonstration, on this pool cue, it might have a crack in it. Obviously, you'd be saying that, hey idiot, it doesn't carry much current. You're probably right. But isn't that a beauty? Little pool cue, because it's stiff and rigid, I'll just show you how to apply good quality electrical tape on a crack, if you have one, in the pool cue. Give you a demonstration. What I do is just stick the one down straight away, of course, first, and go half the thickness of the tape backwards over your lead. That stops that little tab sticking up when you start, and then apply it. Now you'll notice I'm pulling, stretching with the thumb. That's a good quality tape. Go half a wrap at a time as you go over it. Half a wrap. Pull it, stretch it. Pull it, stretch it. Sounds like a different type of video. We won't go into that. Pull it, stretch it. That's a good quality tape. Standard PVC electrical tape that you'd buy from a wholesaler hardware shop. Now, if you get to the end, let's pretend this may be a cable. What I do is just do a small wrap back on itself a couple of times, pull it round, hold it with your thumb, and around again. And away you go. Just a demonstration quickly how to wrap tape. One fixed pool cue. Put that over there, of course. Now, if you happen to have a damaged electrical lead, once again, if you've damaged it on the outside, there's no exposed wiring there. Once again, if you're a little bit wary of it, or it looks dangerous, it probably is. So you should contact a qualified electrician to fix it. But if you're out in a camping situation, or somewhere out in the bush, or somewhere remote, and you're worried about it causing damage or injury, if you need to tape it, what I suggest is get the good quality tape, start about whatever 50mm back, stick it on, go back half a turn over your lead or the start, and then carry on half a width of the tape all the way, stretch and pull, stretch and pull. Good quality tape, works perfect. That's what it's designed for. Stretch and pull, half a lap at a time, so that you're not leaving a gap between the wraps. That way water can get in. Water and electricity don't go too good together. Then just go proud or rip further past where it's damaged. Now, rule of thumb is, well, I apply it anyway, you should go 1.5 times the thickness of the original or existing insulation. After all, this is called insulation tape, and it's only a temporary fix for things until you can get a qualified electrician to address it and make sure it's secure and safe for you. You don't want to be mucking with this stuff if you don't know what you're doing. You arc it, you cark it. The higher voltage, the big stuff, one flash and you're ash. So don't muck with it. So you might have to use nearly a whole roll in some situations to get the 1.5 times the thickness. Who really cares? It's cheaper than getting hooked up, as we say, electrocuted, or as that. Use plenty of tape, good quality tape, and simply break it off there and twist it around. One extension lead temporarily fixed until you get somebody qualified to fix it further. Now, this is an old wiring loom out of an old switchboard or meter box if you like. These are tails for your fuses or your circuit breakers. This is for electrician, of course. Now, don't attempt this yourself if you're not qualified, but in some situations under car bonnets you may, or around engine bays, you may encounter an electrical cable that you're twisting other supply wires onto and soldering it and taping it. And if you get to the end and you've got an exposed wire like such, what I generally do is bend it over tightly, squash it down. Looks a little bit aggressive, probably is. That end is its original insulation, much better than tape and easier to secure safely. And then of course you just apply your tape, like I said, go back over the start, half a turn at a time, stretch and pull. We'll just wrap it pretty quickly for the purpose of the video. Stretch and pull. Do your 1.5 if you're covering exposed wires, 1.5 times the thickness of the existing or the original insulation with the insulation tape. Break that off and you've got a secure and safe ending there. That's a tail for your switchboard. If you're using multiple cables, just to digress here, if you're wanting to pull a cable through a confined space, a hole, or around a rough edge, to secure this point so it doesn't get caught, what I do is wrap the tape, stretch and pull. We'll just pick this up a bit quicker than what we normally do. You get the idea. Go off the end, couple of turns onto the string itself, and then pinch it together, twist it into a point, and that twist round, it won't catch as readily as it would if you exposed it. Just carrying on. If you're working under a bonnet of a car or an engine bay or something like that, careful mate, eh? Multiple cables, you may like to put a little bit of electrical tape around them to secure them in place. I know this is rough, I wouldn't do it as rough as this under a bonnet, because I'm lucky enough to have that OCD thing going on, so I like everything straight and together. Now, in a situation that you might want to secure it more under the bonnet, where it's a little bit shaking around, a little bit of oil and what have you, you're worried about the electrical tape coming undone, what I like to do is whack a few zip ties or cable ties on your loom or your cables, and then simply snip them off. Now, as most people know, these little sharp edges here, they can be gnarly when you're working in a confined space under an engine bay or in a switchboard situation or a meter box, wherever you may be. You can cut your hand on them, slice your wrist or whatever. So what you do, I like to do, is simply get your gas bottle or your flame tray, your cigarette lighter, whatever you might have, your barbecue lighter, and simply burn that down a little bit. Now, I don't suggest you use too much flame in and around engine bays where there's petrol and oil, but in certain situations you can burn that down so that it's not as sharp, or you can use your little angle grinder or your Dremel just to grind it down a little bit, make it safer. Enough of the noise, mate. Or your nail file here, whatever you might choose, file that down, makes it that little bit safer. Now, electrical tape, standard. I only suggest that this is used internal, inside, in switchboards, pillar boxes, under bonnets of cars, meter boxes, junction boxes, wherever it's not going to get wet. I don't like using it outside. It's a temporary thing if you do. It's very good if you use the good quality tape. Now, how many times have you picked up a roll of tape that somebody's been using and they've stuck it down and you can't find the end of it? Especially when you're like me, have a manicure every month or so, you haven't got the fingernails to find the end. Neat little trick, quite simple. What you do is you just either fold it over the shoulder or off the edge when you're finished with the tape. I hope you can see that. Get up here a bit of light. Fold it over the edge, you can even push it down and you can always find that little tab on the end, and away you go. Or you can simply, we'll break this off. Won't be long, won't I? Instead of rolling it down and sticking it down so you can't find it, just simply fold the end back a few mil. That's all you need. Half a centimetre at the most. And stick that down all you like, and you can still find that little tab to start unravelling it again. Or like I said, if you're hanging it off your tool belt, or off your tool belt even, it might get caught. So just roll it off the shoulder or the edge and you can always find it without fingernails. So there you have it. I hope that's been helpful. You can do this with all sorts of tape, masking tape, this ordinary sticky tape, same deal. Fold the end back so you can find it, a little tab, or roll it off the edge and you're done. Works with all tapes. Good quality electrical tape. Don't use this one unless you're a spark, you're an electrician. This is international colour for earthing. It should only be used to repair earthing cables. You've got your phase colours here, your reds, your whites, and of course your neutral or your active colours. If in doubt, ring a sparky, ring a qualified electrician to help you out. Don't attempt to touch live electrical cables unless you're qualified. That's about all I got for you today, and happy taping, safe taping, and in the meantime, if you'd like to get on the old Google machine, type in Scruff's Timeless Tales or Aussie Scruff's Poetry, and this sort of thing will come up. 24 audio poems there. You can download them one at a time, or you can download the whole CD. And of course the book here, there's 40 odd poems in there, and there's even some pictures in there, and a little bit of Aussie slang and a few sayings that I have under Scruff reckons. When you get onto the Google machine, get onto samples, you'll hear this voice a couple of times, or you go into shop and it gives you an example or two of what's available. That's about all I got for you. We'll wrap it up, and until we meet again, just keep it real and tell it how it is, eh? Thank you.